Hi guys, I'm Shafted, Penny Casting Crew. Thank you for joining us. This is Base Wars Qualifier number 7. We are moving into a match here on Yansu that will make this our round of 32 between these two players. We have a Zerg versus Protoss. Here on the bottom left-hand side in the red Protoss trunks, representing Team BKT, it's Alison. And here on the top right-hand side of that very same map, representing Team Renegades of Hell in the blue Zergy McFerguson trunks, it's Sheep! So, Zerg vs. Protoss, Yansu, a really tight, really close map. What are your predictions for this, Carson?
I predict some sort of sentry push. Now, whether that's a Blinkstalker sentry or a Sentry Immortal or some sort of 7-gate, force fields are going to be crucial on this map with all the tight spaces at the natural, above the third, just everywhere.
I actually want to give a big shout out to ZeroTools21. They actually asked in chat, why is this called IEM8 if it's Base Wars? I actually completely forgot to rename everything, so big ups to him for pointing that out. Now, we've got a hatch first into pool. Will we see a gas taken? This is a gateway first build, after all.
Yeah, he went hatch first into pool. Some Zerg players prefer to play it a little bit more greedy and get a spine crawler rather than the Zergling speed. But it looks like the gas is actually coming down now. It's just a little bit later than we see some people do. So.
Right. Okay. So, go ahead.
I was going to say on Alison's side of the map, he's going for the more risky version of this gateway expand where you don't actually scout at all. And you get a bit of a... It's a well-timed zealot, but it's also a little bit risky, and it can die at a certain pool timings like 7 pool, 9 pool.
Well, Tark actually mentions that he likes the flute music from the map introduction. Big thanks for that, and you can check out that and other music from the same artist at incompetech.com. I'll link you up in the chat box. And, oh, nice proxy hatch here for Sheep. This will delay the expansion here for Alison quite a bit, but typically you see this against Forge Fast expands or Nexus first. How does this time out against a gateway build?
I think it times out pretty well against a gateway build because instead of having that cannon there that can just shoot it with as long with the Zealot, you now have a Mothership Core and a Zealot which don't do as much damage, and you're really looking to get that Nexus down pretty quick with the gate expand because otherwise your gateway pressure will be slightly more all in.
Okay, absolutely. Now, this hatchery is not going to finish. The Zealots out, the Mothership Core's out. Oh, it's getting close. It's getting close. Will he have the creep up in time? Is he going to cancel? Okay, there's the cancel. Oh, and a spine crawler going to be built on the leftover creep. He's just trying to buy even more time. Allison, getting this expansion delayed quite a bit, has been floating this 400 minerals for quite some time. What is the overall economic impact of Sheep's antics here?
Not much at all for Sheep. He did delay his spine crawler, which may end up costing him, but it probably won't, considering how far away this pylon is. Because Alison's response to this was to go into a 4-gate, and we'll see how much damage it can get done with that spine crawler and queen out.
Well, we've got a Roach Warren completing. We've got our 2 more queens on the way here. Link speed, a second gas, some extra spine crawlers. A lot of good defense here by Sheep. Alison getting a little offensive. A lot of Zealots, actually. But the Roaches are going to be here in time. It's going to be close.
Yeah, it actually depends on how much Alison commits to this, because if he decides to warp in 1 or even 2 more waves, this game can turn really bad for him really quickly because he won't have any tech out. But if he just backs off now and tries to contain his opponent on 2 bases, he should be in a pretty decent position.
Yeah, Zerg on 2 base against 2 base Protoss, that never works out for Zerg. We have to be 1 base ahead of our opponent because our units actually suck in comparison to everyone else's.
Yeah. I know some Protoss players that would probably disagree with that statement, but number for number, they are not the best.
Yeah, well, to restate the statement, basically our units are not as good, like, as far as purchasing power. If we spend 100 gas, compared to a Protoss 100 gas. Our 100 gas unit is slightly worse. However, we can tech switch faster and we can make more stuff quicker. So it works out in our favor as long as we're base ahead. We don't have to be as cost efficient. Now, we do have a huge Zealot engagement. Roach is trying to hold the ramp. 2 Queens did die there. There are 3 Spine Crawlers, one of them about to fall here. Mothership Core taking a lot of damage. Roaches have eliminated most of the Zealots. There's only 3 Zealots left alive here, and that Mothership Core, the quarter HP now. Oh my god, Sheep has held this. Alison delayed his attack too long and then failed to heed your advice and commit to a contain.
Yeah, that was a really bad decision in my opinion, because he just threw away about 15 zealots, I think. And when that could have been used, that money could have been used towards teching or hitting a bigger timing, you know. Now he's on the retreat, and he's gonna have to defend this roach push with no cannons and whatever he's able to warp in off of his gateways.
Well, here we go. These are, this is Sheep's chance to shine. He's taking out a Stalker with the Roach Hugs. Force fields going down. Gotta love those red force fields, holding most of the Roaches back here, but some nice positioning here by Sheep, pulling Alison's units into range of both sides of the Roaches, and he is doing it again. He's getting a nice little hug here on the sentries, single firing them with this small cluster of Roaches. However, the other cluster of Roaches still being held back by force fields. A lot of the Stalkers are entirely way too bruised, but the sentries are now out of energy. He could penetrate as soon as his Photon Overcharge works its way off.
Yeah, that was questionable to go outside of his wall, because behind his wall his force fields would be slightly less effective, but the Roaches don't have a very long range themselves, so he would have had the aid of the Photon Overcharge as well as longer range units. So that moving outside that wall definitely cost him there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a Forge on the way. We do have that third base now for Sheep, as well as a Lair Tech. A lot of players really favor Mutatech switches in this matchup, but this is Yonsu. It's a really tight, narrow map. Mutas can be punished. Is he just going to stay on this very aggressive Roach style, or does he tech switch out?
It's looking like he will stay on this Roach style, at least for now. He's getting the Evo Chamber. We'll have to see how quickly he puts down that Hydra Den, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for Burrow and Roach Speed after this push.
Oh, wow. This is actually a really aggressive push. These Roaches taking out a lot of the gateways. Alison is really losing the wall. He's going to have to remake that, make it a little tighter, and is risking creating a choke point in his ramp that could really cripple his own reinforcements as opposed to his opponent's.
Yeah, the biggest problem here for Alison is that he has absolutely no tech. He's stuck on warp gate units. The Zerg secured his third base and is getting his own tech. So if Alison doesn't do something quickly, either take a tech switch or push, he's just gonna die a slow death.
Yeah, exactly, man. So Sheep does have the 3 bases. He's getting Spine Crawlers up on those, but he's trying to keep his Roaches active on the field, and I like that. These pylons that are left over from Alison's attack earlier, going ahead eliminating those. Potentially, Sheep could go ahead and take a 4th base. I'm actually surprised that there isn't already a macro hatch.
Yeah, he's not actually floating that much, so the macro hatch wouldn't do as much, because he's been really good about hitting his injects, not even missing maybe one. But he's got a lot of Roaches on the field. The Protoss does not have any tech. He's starting to get Blink now, which can work if he gets a high number of Stalkers out, but his army right now is just so small compared to Sheep's. I don't think Sheep will let him get a 3rd base.
Well, we're going to find out, because here is Sheep trying to come in here and snipe it, and indeed he does. And these Roaches not even going to try and knock on the rock wall. He's just going to retreat and keep his opponent on the 2 bases. This is the type of containing maneuvers we were talking about both with Alison this game and in our previous game.
Yeah, and adding insult to injury there, I don't think Alison even canceled it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's
I don't
actually
think so.
pretty
I was
big
wondering.
blow. That's a pretty big blow considering how much smaller his economy is compared to Sheep's.
Now check this out, Roach Speed is on the way. Roach Speed being able to get through a lot of these force fields. You gotta love these Roach hugs that are coming down on the Stalkers. When you Roach hug a Stalker, it basically eliminates the Stalker's ability to kite away from it. Kiting is the only way Stalkers get around with DPS, and I'm loving it. The dancing, Alison a little pissed off about it, and she just showing all-out dominance with his aggression here. Units lost tab actually speaks for itself. 7,000 resources lost for Alison. Gosu player it is. Renegades of Hell taking a victory.
What does TSC stand for?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna look that up.
I could think of some things, but usually my imagination is a little more vulgar than reality.
Okay, so I'm getting.
Mhm.
I was gonna say I'm getting Tractor Supply Company, Technology Service Corporation, and that's it.
I'm gonna ask. All right. Well, I just asked straight up. Hopping in the lobby now, guys. So give me a follow. So what could Alison have done to win that? Just chosen not to engage that in the mid game, because he did attack in there, that really sloppy attack. Was that what broke him?
Yeah, the two things that defined this game, I believe, were his decision to attack into Sheep's natural. That was pretty game breaking, as he traded really inefficiently. And then moving outside of his wall to defend against those roaches allowed the roaches to do much more than they should have been able to do, in my opinion.
It was Don't Panic. That's the other Chaos Latin gamer player. He's in the six. I was trying to remember his name because they were so successful. But yes, Don't Panic is also good advice, as you were mentioning. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Yeah, he kind of panicked there. Got outside. Got a little bit. I'm not sure if he was cocky or what was the deal there, but he decided to move outside of his wall and got punished for it, spending all of his sentry energy and losing much more than he should have.
So apparently TSC is an abbreviation for distaste. I don't really understand, but that's what Alison said. Either way, I am going to go grab a soda. So if you will carry the cast until I return, I would appreciate it so much, Carson.
Okay, I'm joining the lobby right now. Oh, I can't actually do that myself. The host needs to do it. Is it on break screen, or am I still talking? Oh, okay. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have Don't Panic, Protoss player from KLG, and Renegades of Hell Sheep, I believe, is playing next. So another ZBP. Don't Panic is somebody that I've seen before, but I'm not completely familiar with his playstyle. He's a very good Protoss player, though. He's in Grandmasters, rank 137. So pretty high level. As we saw from the last game, Sheep is very good himself, so it should be a pretty good game.
Oh, you revealed the players. Sad face. It's okay.
Was I not supposed to?
Yeah, I like to keep it a surprise until we start introducing him, but it's fine. No biggie. It's all good. It's all good. Actually,
what else was I supposed to talk about?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Either way, I was just reading in chat. Apparently, I'm married to the Queen of Blades because of the way my hair is right now. Apparently, it looks like arrogance.
You're the King of Blades.
King of Blades, yeah. There we go. Apparently. But yeah. So we're just waiting on players to hop in here. Sheep probably taking a bio break after his last game. But Renegades of Hell versus Chaos Latin Gamers. This is a rivalry of like all time. These are the Latin American teams, and these are probably the two best Latin American teams that I know of. So you know, there's some friendly competition going on, kind of like Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid between these two.
Yeah, definitely. Renegades of Hell, I believe, is less or they lost a lot of really good players recently, I believe, but they still apparently have a very strong roster with Sheep. So I expect a lot out of him. I don't really know the rest of their roster at this point because most of the people that I used to play, like Maydork and or The Truth or something like that, they have since gone to other teams. So.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to Wikipedia it real quick. And while I'm Wikipediaing this, I was reading in chat. What's that? Zeratools21 says that best thing to do for Zerg is keeping him on gateway with pressure roaches and go to Hydras before Colossi and ignoring the Immortals. He needed Immortal Sentry composition and he needed to switch to a Sentry Immortal all-in, since his gateway expand got delayed. I agree with that. Yonsu is a great map for Immortal Sentry all-ins. What are your thoughts, Carson?
Yeah, I believe Sentry Immortal all-in would have been really strong in that map. He actually didn't put down any tech, I believe, that game at all, like, whatsoever besides Blink. And I think Blink was an especially wrong decision to go into from how far behind he was, because you need a really large amount of Stalkers with pretty good upgrades in order to trade very effectively against Roach Hydra. So there's a lot of things he could have done better that game, and tech is definitely one of them.
Yeah. So it looks like Renegades of Hell's roster right now, they've got Sheep and they've got Tropa from their old lineup, and then they've got Jarpy, Keeled, Psycho, and Redfeet, Keeds being the captain. Apparently Fiend, B-Lord, Wraith, Maydork, and Darkness have all left. Fiend, B-Lord, and Wraith are really the three that come to mind when I think of Renegades of Hell, though. So it's kind of unfortunate seeing them go, but at least you still got Tropa. Tropa, an amazing player, and as we've seen so far, this guy, Sheep, also pretty damn good. We're going to be moving into the map introduction shortly.